I've only got a button to end the broadcast. So.
To the viewers, can you see us as our first ever attempt? I mean, we're only 15 minutes late, so
that's not bad.
That's, if anything, for Turning Point 5, I think that's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, wait till the camera falls over.
The camera's going to go in a second. They probably can't hear what we're saying.
Yeah, can we be heard? Is my voice heard and respected? Probably shouldn't do that.
Let's get up in the knock everything over.
So far, no one said anything in response. But let's just.
Can we check on YouTube?
Yeah. Let's do the extra thing.
We'll make sure it all works. And what I've done as well is I've put that mic
we're
perfectly so that you can just drop it in that hole and throw it straight away.
Yeah.
Might be the sensitivity of the mic. I forget which way around.
I've just turned it up to max on here. It was like 60% on there.
And can people hear us better?
Maybe. Audible but low. We'll give it another couple of minutes, given it seems to have like
big lag.
5-10 minutes of delay. I think that was just because of YouTube.
Oh, okay, just buffering. I mean, we have to probably two-factor authenticate it again, don't we? Can we just do it one more time?
Very quiet.
Very quiet.
According to Glass.
Well, maybe we can.
Glass Half Dead is watching.
One looks like that one is just
turn that up.
Super low. That's gonna like kill.
And now it's like someone's eardrum is like blown out as a result.
How's that?
We're getting there. What we'll do is we'll figure out how to do streaming. Hopefully by the time we finish.
Is Andy's watching then?
Andy's in.
Tell him he's my favourite bald man.
You're going to say YouTube creator, weren't you?
He's my favourite Kill Team. He's my favourite Kill Team content creator, and I'd like to give him a double hello.
Oh dear! It's like, I'm literally right here, but it's fine. He's also mine.
Yeah.
There you go. It's no joke. I hate myself.
I've mentioned Kill Team on my other podcast, so technically I am also
now a Kill Team content creator.
I'm a Kill Team content creator. Yeah.
Oof. Well, there you go. We'll see if these guys can hear.
We're just going to put those both to max, and if it does anything, then so be it.
Okay.
Either that or they won't be able to hear us at all, one of the two. And then hopefully we'll know. Is the little green bar moving?
Oh yeah, but it's not, despite turning both of those to the max, it's not changed the levels that it's going up. So this may just...
It's probably a YouTube setting or something, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm going to say, and not that Macs are just shit.
Is it also a potential that it's using the Mac mic and not this mic?
No, because it's definitely on the properties for it. It's saying to use that.
Okay.
There's usually like a flickering green bit that lets you know.
I did say in the beginning in the advert to this that there will be technical issues.
So I
feel like we're living up to.
Well, we've not started yet. We're prepping.
Hype. This is
prepping the stream.
Okay. I think I can manually override it to just try and boost it.
Nice.
So
do that.
In the worst case,
can you turn up the graphics on level 3?
Enhance.
Yeah.
Enhance. Enhance.
What was it? I know, tightening up the graphics. That was it.
Is it
That's an old meme.
Old meme.
Yeah. There was a college, like a video game creators college, and the video for it, the advert for it, this woman comes over to a student who's like 30 years old. Goes, how are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm just tightening up the graphics on level 3. Sitting there typing code like furiously.
Are we going to switch out mics? See if it's a mic issue.
I was going to attempt it. James has said that he can hear us reasonably, but chat still says they're quiet. Let's swap over to just using the webcam mic for a second, because we know that picks up the entire world.
Wow.
We've got a shore and we're using a road.
This is Samsung.
Oh, okay.
Shore
is...
I mean, immediately swapping to the webcam and we have real levels of audio.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we will hear us on the webcam.
What? This just looks professional.
Yeah.
I
mean,
no one else
it's achieving nothing.
No one has to know.
The audience out there are like losing their mind.
Everyone knows.
Just forget.
Let us know if the chat can actually hear us now.
That is better.
Oh,
people can hear things from a shitty webcam mic rather than 200 quid.
So, all we have to do is buy that instead.
It's a very good webcam mic.
It is, it is a very good webcam.
It's insane. Look at the size difference between it as well. Like people who say you need to size matters, whatever, it just turns out they're wrong.
You just need to know how to use it.
Just need to know how to use it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, as chat's saying, it is going to be lower quality, but audibility over quality at the moment, I suppose.
Well, that's
For
what
first attempt.
Right, so should we get stuck into it, I guess?
I guess, yeah. What you've got this incredible intro you said you'd make.
So,
Introduce me.
Yeah.
You're the fluffer.
For context, I said earlier on that we want to try and make it more of a Turning Point Tactics and NKT, Not to Kill Team, like joining, and I was going to write a new intro. Instead, I was making YouTube videos and totally forgot to do that. So I should probably just do the standard intro because I haven't thought of one.
Do the standard one, and I'll just ruin it at,
at
intervals.
What I'll do is I'll give you, it's like improv, right? So I'm going to give you the opportunity to then come in at the end.
Sure.
And
I said, you know what? I'm still not comfortable with where I sit.
Do
Do I look at you? Do I look at you?
A little bit everywhere, I think.
Yeah.
Not for too long, and not for too short.
But like, how do I hold my hands? Do I put my hands under the table? What do I do with my hands?
21 minutes in, 0 Kill Team talks about pure faff and
but actually, hands are very important for Kill Team.
Hands are important. That is about 6 inches. There you go. That's some knees.
Nowhere near, mate.
But you can be like, yeah, sure. Right, anyway, so hello and welcome to Turning Point Tactics, the competitive Kill Team 40k podcast and YouTube channel, focused giving you the strategy and tactics, siege initiative, every turning point. I'm your host Ryan, and I'm joined by Chris. that was the improv bit. That was the
right. Okay, yeah, I'm Chris.
Nice. So Chris is one of the main guys at Not to Kill Team. We're also joined by Jason, who isn't here yet because he's late. So as you can see, this is the quality TP5 that you have come to expect.
Eventually, though, it will be quite good quality, and then we'll look really cool.
We'll look really good. Look really good, and we are getting there, right? Because for a start, it seems that we're actually doing this live, which is a massive increase in where we were last time. Do
you not think that's extra nerve-wracking, though?
That it's live. That
it's live, yeah.
Not really, because I mean,
if you fuck up, it's recorded on the internet forever.
Well, wait till I start swearing.
I love the fact that you guys genuinely thought there was a chance I was going to save it in the edit anyway.
Yeah.
Before you saw the video,
just upload straight away.
There was nothing happening there. It was just unfiltered straight out.
The fact that at least once a week you come into the WhatsApp group and go, "Does anyone want to edit some videos for me?" I really don't have that much faith in your video.
Just weekly. Please, I'm still asking anyone out there listening, if you want to have a job editing, it pays terribly, and
or not at all, really.
Not at all.
You can have some Turning Point Tactics dice.
You can have some Turning Point Tactics dice. I can try and organise an NKT sexual favour. They go around pretty cheaply these days. Yeah, he is teethy but good. Right, so we're a little bit off track.
Yes. So Jason's late. While Jason is not here, we should probably talk about
cool things that we've done that he hasn't.
Yeah, because we went to, I don't know if George cameraman has heard, but I went to America to
did you?
To Worlds, yeah.
How did you get to go there?
I won a tournament, mate. Won a tournament. Oh, Jason's here.
For being an absolute
He's swearing at us
lad.
from the other side of the glass.
He'll be in shortly then. That's good.
Hello, Wayne.
Cool. So let's talk about Atlanta, because I think it's pretty cool to talk about. It was a pretty awesome experience. It would be rude of us to gloss over it.
Yeah.
So you got there for being an absolute top lad.
Yes. Well,
did you continue being a top lad when you were there?
Medium, I feel. So I got there. If you hadn't heard the last Turning Point Tactics, Turning Point 5 podcast, I got there from a best of award at Warhammer World, which was painting, playing, and sportsmanship. So enough people said that I was their favourite game of the day. Enough people said that my painting was the best there, or that they played against. Yeah. And then I also ranked quite well. I think what was it, 23 out of 74 that day. Yeah. So not top 10, but decent enough. Well, don't find it because it'll be way lower.
He was top 10 easy. Like
he was
11 probably.
I was like 6th, mate. I was like 6th or something.
Don't check.
Don't look. Which isn't bad, which is not bad, so I got to go for that. I was the only one there for that. Like, they even said in that Warhammer TV balance data slate video recently, everyone there was there because they won their tournament. I was like, that's not true.
You won your own tournament, though.
I won my own tournament in my heart.
This is it.
Yeah, and I have won tournaments previously. Let's get. There's a lot of naysayers. There's some shit going around in YouTube comment sections that I can't hold my own at Kill Team. Oh, fucking excuse me. No, I do all right.
You can hold at least half your own.
Yes, yeah. I can. I generally, out of 4 games, will win 3 of them and then lose the fourth. But I tend. This is the annoying thing. So a guy in our group placed 1 rank higher than us. We had a big tournament on Saturday. I've completely gone off tangent, but he was 11th and I was 10th. And he's like, oh, he couldn't even get top 10, mate. We're a bit of banter, but he lost his first game. And so all of his games after were against people with defeats, whereas I lost my last game, which means I had to fight undefeated players all day. So what I need to do is start losing early and then submarine tactically play.
It'll be interesting to have that conversation as well, because Jason was matching up the pairings metrics.
I liked that. I did enjoy that.
Yeah,
because it meant I didn't know. didn't know who I was going to play against.
I prefer it the other way around. I like it where it's a bit predictable. I can go, all right, this is my next matchup, and you can go into it knowing. But it's like the pure carnage.
I do. I like the silliness. If it wasn't so it wasn't complete random. It was win loss and then random within that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's completely fair, to be honest, because if I have an amazing game against a really poor player round 1, doesn't mean that I should be the very top of the thing. I just had a good game, so I quite like it. It's this, while the tournament's going on, it's just random within your win loss. I like it, and the longer it goes on, the more accurate it is. Really,
the only downside to that is that, let's say you pair in someone really good, and the placement metric is like tac ops, and they just get like zone you out, and you scored 0 in the tac ops, you will now not get top 3.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But
I mean, it only really matters when it's a serious competitive tournament.
Yeah. And 64 players.
There's going to
be 4 rounds. There's going to be 3 undefeated. There you go.
I think it's 4, isn't it? 4 undefeated.
Not if someone gets a draw. Someone's going to get a draw. Don't be that guy. Someone's going to get a draw. World Championship.
So we're talking about Atlanta, yeah?
Atlanta. So first time flying.
It's Atlanta. So I've been picked up. The locals. Atlanta.
Well, the locals. The locals. That's America.
They're all listening.
I hope they are, because they should be ashamed of themselves. The amount of homeless people in your cities. Can we reflect on that for a minute? Just give to some charities that support the homeless. Jesus, right. So tournament.
Hard politics is not Turning Point 5.
Yeah. Sorry.
We'll take that out in the edit.
Yeah. Sure, the edit.
Eat the rich. Right.
Atlanta. Right. So you went there because you're a good lad, and you got to choose a team. I went with
Legionaries because I had just finished making them.
And do you post tournament think that was a good idea, bad idea? Do you happy about it, or do you regret it?
It was a bad idea. So I went with Nurgle and Slanesh Legionaries, which is a bad idea in itself. It seems to be Nurgle. When you first read over the Legionaries, especially pre-nerf, you think, oh, Nurgle's the best. Post-nerf, and I don't think even pre-nerf, it's not. It's Zinch is the best all the way. But I put my roster in, and there was no deviating from that. So I kind of shot myself in the foot from the get-go by playing Legionaries with a nerf. I played the wrong marks, essentially. I took the right models for most of my games, but I have played Kill Team for just over a year. Probably played how many games? Maybe 100, 200 games probably. I've played a lot of fucking games of Kill Team. And they've all been with Chaos Demons, Galapox and Blooded. All of them are massive horde teams that you really get into a bit of a vibe with, and the way I play is quite sacrificial. I will just, go on, you shoot him, so then I can come round the corner and shoot you with this guy. So playing elites, when I think I'd had 5 games before I left with my Legionaries. So it wasn't so much that it was a new team, but it was an entirely new style.
Yeah.
Now,
it's a very different play style. Very different.
It's so different, and I honestly think it's a lot harder. A lot of people say, "Oh, I've switched to Intercession because I'm finding Vetguard a bit difficult." Yeah, Vetguard are a tricky team to play, and Intercession are probably the easiest of the 3 elite teams. However, the amount that is riding on your every activation is so much more than on One for Blooded.
And I think this is where it's really interesting, because when the game starts, it's very much like, okay, elites are easy to play, they're very forgiving, and when you're playing new players, it's actually much easier.
Yeah.
And then when you go to like the World Champs and everyone is not a new player, they all know what they're doing, they all know how to be elites.
Yeah.
Suddenly you go, oh my, like,
yes,
if I make a mistake with one model, I'm going to lose the game. And that's 6, whatever.
Yeah, when you lose a model, you are screwed. But you said something in Atlanta to me, Atlanta, that really stood out as some strong truth in. It's not so much just the losing a model; it's whiffing a roll, especially with Legionaries that aren't always going to shoot twice. So if your plasma gun whiffs a roll and doesn't whiff it bad enough for you to veteran of the long war, well, you're fucked. Like,
you see at 5 damage, you go, cool.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, that's just your turn. Is that now? Great.
And then you
didn't kill a guardsman.
yeah.
It really, really hurts when you whiff.
Yeah. And so the bit that you touched on, which I think is interesting to discuss, because a lot of time, like the original advice to everyone was basically Nurgle is best, right?
Yeah.
And for a long time, I do think that held true. Like the damage reduction was really good.
The damage reduction was broken.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, it was significantly stronger than it is now. And not just that, but like you look at the matchups of teams that existed in that meta. Kazakin weren't around, particularly as they are now. But like Vetguard was, and they were always the like worst matchup. I would argue. But then like Corsairs were the other like elite hunting team, but Halfkin weren't around.
Like Blooded were always a good hunt for Legionaries. Blooded would always mess them up a bit.
And Blooded came out after like Legion when they first released as well. So
oh yeah,
all these teams, like when the first advice came out about Nurgle was the best, were there. I think the advice was true at the time. And I think what's happened is the meta's evolved, stuff's changed, different teams have come out. There's been nerfs, there's been buffs, and all that sort of stuff. And now suddenly, a lot of those teams now it just doesn't hold true. And so they sort of, I guess that the way that we sort of discussed it, and along with Mateusz, was like Tzeentch makes the worst matchups potentially winnable.
Yes, Mateusz is the
Polish number 1.
Yeah, number 1 from Poland. Yeah.
And so like, because that was one of those things, right, where you go in, if you're against Vetguard, and it's a good Vetguard player, they're going to do 6 movements that mean absolutely nothing to you.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
You're not
They'll
going to
just
get any
waste your
shots.
time.
And then if you position in the mid board, they're going to move up and they're going to hit you with a demo mine. They're going to hit you with a melter gun. They're going to hit you with a plasma gun. Whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
And if you don't position the mid board, they're going to go 5-1 turn 1 or 4-2 turn 1, and then they're going to do that next turn anyway because they're going to forward deploy that demo mine and he's going to yeet forwards and they have initiative reroll as well.
Yeah.
So without that invulnerable save to try and protect you from those APT weapons, like
you need Tzeentch and you need a couple of hot rolls.
Yeah,
and you just do. You have to. I think elites, especially Intercession and Legionaries, are in a bit of a hot spot at the moment. So if you were looking to get into a team and you were holding the boxes in front of you, I would probably say, if you want to do like the whole competitive meta thing, don't bother. Yeah. If you just want cool Legionaries, also don't bother. Just kit bash your own.
I make them entirely Nurgly, but based.
Spend hundreds of pounds kit bashing your own unique team.
But yeah, so I agree. So like I'm gonna look at in session now, and I'm like, some of those matchups are gross. Like, Kazakin, if they roll badly, like they're doing 10 damage to you. like they roll their dice and they're going, oh, I've only got 1 hit. I'll just do 10 damage.
Well, so think of it this way: to table you, they only have to roll badly and do 10 damage 12 times. Oh, they only really 6 times because you're not doing much.
Someone else is going to kill you.
Yeah.
So like if they roll a natural 6 when they're shooting you, or they get like a good roll, they can make that into an excellent roll.
Yeah.
If they roll terribly and they get like a single hit, they're still going to hit you with a crit and a hit.
Yeah. So that's why you need Zinch, and you need
Sorry.
with the Zinch, if you want the opinion of someone that's mildly good at the game, you have to have. So you pay for the 4-up and vulnerable save. You get the lethal 5-up for free, which is lovely, but you need to also pay for the. I can't remember what it's called, but if you roll your defense dice and you get a crit defense dice, you can turn a fail into a save.
Just
if you mix that, so if someone's got AP1, I think the maths will then check out that if you've got both of those things on, it's worth using your 4-up Zinch.
I think it's always worth, with AP1, if you're in cover, it's always worth rolling the 2. Because if you roll, because you're retaining 1, so you've already got 1.
Yeah.
You're rolling 2, 50%ers, 75% chance that you're as good as rolling your normal armor save.
And if one of them happens to be a crit, you're going to turn a...
Then suddenly you're getting all 3 saves and not as much damage. So yeah, so it's a pretty scary time to be in the elite meta. So probably good that balanced data state didn't come in before.
So Tentacles has just asked in the chat, they're considering dropping them for a new team into Season 3, and they're currently considering Galapox or Star Striders.
Don't Galapox. Not until we know a bit more about Season 3, but it looks awful for Galapox at the moment. It looks really rough. Star Striders, though,
so
it's nice.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one, right? So I think Galapox is still going to be strong. I think they are the team that's avoided... that they were strong before the other broken teams came out, like Chaos Cults, Fergors, and all that sort of stuff. They've taken no nerfs since then.
Galapox?
Since then. They got nerfed with the CP, they got nerfed with the Feel No Pain, all that sort of stuff, and they were still performing well. And the only thing that was holding them back was those really strong teams. Season 3 terrain is going to be an interesting one.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So the reason why is if it's a game where you have to do loads of jump tests to get to objectives, then I don't see how you can play it competitively. Because it's here's my Hulk, right? I'm going to charge your guy. I roll a dice. No, I'm not. I'm now just stood in the open and going to die.
It's too much dice. Yeah. And I've always said, if you really want a pure competitive game, go and play Street Fighter. But if you're introducing that much dice rolling, you are going to take away from Kill Team's more competitive edge than a lot of board games.
I'd be interested to know how people think about it. So I'll chat with Jason when he gets in. But if you only failed your dice roll, your jump test, you just got -2 to your movement. Would that
be better?
Would that be better? Because at the moment it feels so punishing, right? You're there, you're about to jump over a ledge, you fail, you stand in the open, you're a melee team.
Is everyone's jump test the same? Do we know that?
Yeah, it's 2-up.
2-up. Oh.
Is it worth going through the mechanics of jumping and what the gantries?
Yeah. So, but basically, your model has to move basically 3 inches. So if the distance is less than 3, you can do a jump. You roll a single d6. If you do a 1, you just stay where you are. And if you roll anything but, you can move across it with a successful jump.
Command point reroll?
You can't command point reroll it.
I feel I guess if they can command point reroll, it just becomes no point. A 2-up's not that bad.
It's not, but let's say you're playing an elite team.
Yeah, and once again, because you have fewer models, once again, you get screwed over.
It's the charge to get your Nightmare Hulk into combat with someone on an objective, and you just roll a 1.
Yeah.
That level of variance is going to hurt so much when it comes to trying to score objectives.
Yeah, that's true.
You're there going, oh, what do I do now? And you're just stood in the open, so you can dash maybe, or you're screwed. So it's an interesting one because with that terrain, melee teams, there's a whole bunch of teams that can fly, that auto pass jump tests and all that sort of stuff. That just won't care.
Yeah.
But for the teams that don't have that, that's a level of variance. Because there's only 5 objectives by the looks of it, right? So this is another thing. It's they may have less objectives. You have less.
Well, I mean, there's all sorts of things you could introduce. You could have equipment that every team gets. That for a certain amount of equipment points, they then get the ability to auto pass the jump tests, things like that. Yeah, climbing ropes also. That would help. Yes. So, would I take Legionaries to Worlds?
Well, just quickly on that. So he's deciding between Galapox and Star Striders.
Oh yeah.
I think Galapox is going to be really strong. if you're in standard open board or on ITD, I think you do really well. It's a big unknown at the moment as to what Season 3 terrain is going to be like. No one's really played it, so I think stand by on that, because we might find, as we had done with many things, that actually expectation does not meet reality. Star Striders, unfortunately, Commandos still exist, and all the stuff that made Commandos really, really strong hasn't changed, really. Like, it's just the pure cheese. Like, it's the forward deployed turn 1 dynamite has gone, but you played, was it Dalton?
Yes. Dawson.
Sorry, Dawson. And he said,
lovely bloke.
Yeah, and he said, I'm not going to use any of these abilities.
Yeah. So this was after. This was one of the last games of the tournament, and we were in the world's bracket, not the championships bracket, and so it was a lot more casual. And I was taking quite a long time setting up, and I was essentially explaining to Dawson why I was taking a long time to set up, and goes, you know what, just to hurry things up and make it easier on you, I'm not going to dynamite you turning point 1. So I was like, oh, cool, I'll set up how I want then. Now there was still massive threats, like from a forward deployed sniper that can shoot from silent, a forward deployed rocket boy that they could then flip, a breacher that could charge me that was also forward deployed. So even without the dynamite turning point 1 threat, I feel like, with his help in a way, because we were both measuring things out, in a sense it was me and Dawson playing against Dawson. And we couldn't win. The Legionaries played it perfectly, but the combination of the map, the corner deployment, and the Legionaries versus the Commandos, and the Legionaries being who they were as Nurgle, the Legionaries could not win. So I even got some hot rolls.
Yeah, were you on loot?
It was loot, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I actually think Nurgle is better as Commandos.
Commandos on loot, yeah.
But on loot,
probably.
I think you win.
No.
There's no way to stop them from going 4-2 turn 1.
No, so I mean, things like I buffed my Balefire, self-buff, charged someone, killed them. I only had like 1 wound left on the Balefire. He had a 6 wound model, charged my Balefire. Balefire rolled hot, killed the model with mortal wounds. So things like that were happening for me. Things were going really well. Still couldn't do it. I think I maxed secondaries, but just couldn't catch up because of primaries.
It's just gross.
Yeah.
But this is the main thing, right? He didn't do all of the stuff that's been nerfed, and it was the same game. Right, well, apart from 2 forward deploys, but like all my Commanders opponents, apart from double forward deploy on turn 1 in open board, they didn't. ITD, none of the changes that have come up were used.
Yeah.
And open board, they did use the squig at APL buff once, and they did use the double forward deploy, but that's it. That was a draw. That was my closest game. ITD completely zoned out. Like, I don't know what to do differently in that matchup.
Yeah.
That being said, I do think it is a niche matchup problem for Star Striders. I think the rest of the field is pretty good.
Back to the question, Tentacles, is it?
Yeah.
I hope he's a top tier Patreon member, because we are going in on this. This episode is for him or her.
Or them.
Or them, they, them. Buy them both if you can, because they are both absolutely incredible teams that really showcase what Kill Team can be from the non-competitive side as well as the competitive side. They're both really well written in terms of rules, but they're both so flavourful.
Fuck you, Chris.
Turn your
turn my shit
fucking shit off. Get in here,
like
you
it's
tiny
serious.
angry man.
This wasn't what's supposed to happen.
This
We're
is
talking
it.
about actual
No, we're
game
talking
stuff.
about competitive.
Yeah, nobody cares about that.
No, so I was actually talking about flavour.
Carry on.
So polos are spearmen. No, they're both really flavourful teams in terms of the fluff around them, the way that the rules for their strat ploys and tack ploys is written, the whole warrant of trade. Like they are what makes Kill Team more interesting to me than games which you have to make a full army, because you're never going to get full army of Navy Breaches, you're never going to get full army of Star Striders or Galapox and that kind of thing. So they're just interesting. So if you can, buy both, but if you have to pick, Galapox first.
There we go.
The models are much better, to be honest. Both teams are quite monopose, Well, they're entirely monopose. But the models for the Gallophox, if you paint them well, look fantastic. Whereas I feel like Star Striders, they're good.
Probably have more kit bash and proxy options if
They have
for
more.
Gallophox.
You can, yeah.
if you wanted to go.
I don't know. I'm
Star
kit
Striders
bashing my
have some-
Star Striders at the
yeah.
moment.
You are,
Yeah.
but then with the torment speed, Hulks, whatever. Sorry,
Yeah, you
being
can
horrific, I
really
suppose,
go.
then
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want almost, can't you?
Yeah. Just do what you want.
I think Star Striders are one of the most fun teams that you can play, and they're so deep. Like you can get lost in how many options you have and all that sort of stuff in your matchups, and they're a lot of fun. So they're both good options. I would say I don't know which would be better, if I'm honest, on new maps.
I have something to add actually, just at the end, because then we'll move off this guy's questions. One question we've been answering.
I know, I've been watching.
Yeah. The Gallophox, if you're going to play a lot with your friends, you're playing your mates a lot of times, don't play Gallophox because it's not fun to play against them. They're really fun to play,
You've changed,
but they're not fun to play against. The
Wasn't
feel
so
no
long
pain.
ago.
Absolutely
The feel
no
no
one
pain
enjoys
is so
5-up
annoying. I shot.
And now you've seen it from the other side.
I shot
If it was
Bulldog,
the other way around, you gave no shits at all.
but I never saved like this.
Yes,
like
you
this
did.
is the problem.
Yes, you did.
I shot him with the heavy bolter 6 times over 2 turning points. The amount I had to pour over 3 turning points. Sorry, no 2 because I used veteran in the long war. 6 times, and I think he was on 2 wounds left.
Yeah.
With a heavy bolter, 5 attacks hitting on 3s.
Hate it.
5-6 damage.
AP1?
4-5.
AP1,
Yeah.
4-5 damage. AP1, 5 attacks. 6 times it took.
P1. Everyone just
Not competitive.
world class player.
Not competitive. Again,
P1 and
Not
AP1.
your competitive
The fact that
I'm
they,
always rolling,
the
Chris.
fact
It
that
doesn't
they
matter.
have to differentiate that is
When you buy
ridiculous.
your own dice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when you fish your dice out of the toilet.
Oh jeez.
So
And
that
it
was
still
it.
couldn't kill Volga.
That was the Tentacles podcast.
Yeah. Was there any other questions before we?
Semi-related to season 3.
Yeah.
Tentacles again had asked.
Fucking hell, man!
He's getting his money's worth.
Do
Their money's
we
worth.
think
In the upper
tournaments will use their own terrain layouts to remove jumps in the random aspect with it, or are you thinking of doing any?
So I am personally
fucking better be.
Yeah. So we're going to make it a season 3 layout, which is why I'm holding off doing a redesign because I need to make that into version 3.
You're gonna make 9 layouts.
9 layouts is the plan. I want to use the same objective layout that the rest of Kill Team uses.
Yeah.
So
That'd be
like with the whatever it is, right? Say on this one, 4 in the middle, 1 in the side.
Oh, of course, because it's 4 objectives.
At the moment,
That's
it's
not
5.
5.
But that leads to some really wacky stuff for scoring, and it also means that, like, let's say you're like.
In a tournament, it's going to be terrible.
It's going to be
Yeah,
terrible.
horrible
Yeah.
to balance. I don't
You
think
suddenly
you
just
balance
have like
it.
half of VP as everyone else does because you've chosen on board, right? Or got
We just
10
got
on
unlucky.
board.
Yeah.
So yes, I want to try and make it with 6 deployments. I don't know if diagonal will work because the way the actual deployment zone works.
I mean,
Maybe it
just
will.
fob
maybe it
diagonal
won't.
off.
Potentially.
No one wants it.
No one likes it.
No
No
one
one likes
likes
playing
it. No one
diagonal.
likes
It sucks.
It shakes us
I've
up.
literally never met anyone that actually likes playing diagonal. And of the 2 boards, of the 2 maps at Warhammer World Championships, sorry, one of them was diagonal.
Nice.
So
You got that one. 7
Of the
times?
2, I got that one a lot, mate. I was diagonal all day.
no one likes diagonal. So
No one likes
I'm going to go out of my way to make it all diagonal. Just so that
Do you want a job organising the next week? Make it as frustrating as possible for all the competitors. They've only been on a plane for 19 hours. You know what? Just top it off.
Oh jeez.
I'm not going to get invited back.
No, you're not. Not being a nice guy, definitely not. You're going to have to win it the sweaty way.
Turn
now.
it on.
Yeah. So to answer the question, yes, I'm going to try and do it with the objectives. I don't think there will be a way to balance the terrain and the objectives to avoid jumps. I might be wrong. I'll give it a go. I imagine that that's not going to be the case. So I think maybe we'll see how it plays out initially. But a community ruling where if you fail a jump test, you just subtract T from your movement might be the way to go.
It could be.
Because and the reason why is it's just like Feel No Pains, right? It's not going to come up very often, but when it does, you can guarantee you're going to be so pissed off about it. Like, they're going like, oh, all I have to do is just go across here and change trajectory, I win the game. And you go, oh, can I CP reroll it? No. Can I do anything about it? No. And they go, oh, you lost it, didn't you? And you're like, guess I did. Like, and that, for me, like, if you outplay your opponent and you just lose completely on a dice roll like that, that would be really frustrating. And particularly if it happens multiple times in a game.
Yeah, that's the risk, isn't it? You might swallow it for the one round.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to just get it once, but if you're that person who gets 4 rounds and it all goes to decimal.
Yeah, and like, also, could you imagine if you just like on turn 1 you just failed all your jump tests?
Yeah, gross.
Like
as well,
you just like, oh, I lost the game. Like, done.
That's so from a competitive edge, it could be really problematic. But from a fun playing edge as well, think about like the theatre of the mind that's going on when you've got Volgrar steaming round the corner, runs right up to this little diving board looking piece of shit, and he goes, you know what? Next time.
Actually,
to be fair, he has got little stumpy legs.
He's got big old legs. He's got tiny little arms. The T-Rex arms, big old legs with drills on the back of them.
He's just there going, that's too far. That's a bit scary. There's a space marine who's like going at max speed, just like, that's a bit of a big drop, isn't it?
Just the noise that Sonic the Hedgehog makes when he puts the brakes on.
Slide into a stop.
Christmas Day.
But yeah, so that's the answer to that. Get rid of jump tests, put them in the bin, they're garbage. And
with Fiona Pains.
With Fiona Pains.
Just, right. Rebalance Galliflox, give them all a 4-up save, and no Fiona Pains, and let's just see what happens.
Dan is in the chat, isn't he? Pretty sure.
Dan?
Yeah.
Which
Dan?
Dan?
These nuts.
Handsome Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Handsome Dan.
And you're slating his favourite Galliflox.
They're my favourite.
Just give them more wounds. Well. Just give them more wounds. Yeah. I don't mind. Like they can have 50 wounds. That's fine, so long as I know, right? Like,
okay, but give me something for the Archon.
No.
Nah, fuck them guys.
No, that's your fault for playing Dark Eldar.
They're weird. Like,
yeah.
People who play them are weird as well. I make no apologies.
There's
my handcuff team is normal.
The Venn diagram, the Venn diagram of people who don't shower and people that play Dark Eldar. We're not saying that word around here. Is a circle.
Well, if Games Workshop would give us a Tyranid team, we all know things would be better.
You'd move on.
Yeah, but they have like ponies in jars that they do. Tyranid players are worse.
Is there any more questions?
No,
Hot chat outraged.
What's that? I've got
This is never coming on again.
both flavours of Space Elves. So I've ruined them. I've ruined Tyrannids.
Americans in general.
Yeah, sorry.
He started off immediately with American politics. And I was like,
Let's
go for a less divisive topic.
Is it political to not want to see a swath of homeless people every time you step outside?
At least put up screens, right? Like just some sort of way so you don't see it.
Not only screen them up, I mean help them.
No, that's not what you said.
Yeah, that's what you just don't want to see it. I want it to be a hidden problem.
I see, yeah. My choice of words wasn't
Welcome
great.
to the political world where you get smeared for one misspeak.
While we're back on worlds.
Yes, worlds.
Mike, is it Mike that's Gin Sheep?
No, it's Matt.
No, Matt.
I'm terrible at names. I thought I had it. He was asking,
close.
Was there a painting tournament at Worlds?
Right.
Back in a minute.
Here we go.
So this is just the me podcast. This is the Chris Scott Bloor podcast.
Chris gets mad.
Right, yeah, there was a painting contest. There was a painting contest. It was akin to setting up a couple of picnic tables around your grand's house, throwing a dirty tablecloth over them, under super harsh office lighting, only allowing people that had been picked by judges to enter said contest. The judges, I assume, had stigmatisms or something that like there were teams that should have been there that weren't allowed to be there, and there were teams that God bless them, that should not have fucking been there. The front runners for the ones that shouldn't have been there were, I think, the 80% of entrants that were all commission painted. And while they were being judged, the organizer, nice man, he even made a comment like, and people say that competitive players can't paint. No, they can't. These are all commission jobs. So yeah, all of the top spots were won by commission painters. Then
I was not there, by the way. This team didn't get in.
Yeah, your lovely Star Striders, which were commission painters, so you shouldn't have put them in anyway. But
And they weren't there.
but they weren't chosen to go through. They were not there. I think the top 8 spots for the kill team one were all commission painted. So they awarded the points to their countries and players. So things like best player award and overall rankings, it was paint based. So they were all commission painted stuff. Then the ruling was going to be that, okay, you can have that much, but you can't win the actual painting contest itself. They just didn't follow that through. They just decided, you know what, you can win it. And so you had a long line of people going up to collect their awards and then going, oh, look, you came third or second or first in painting. And the lovely people were saying, no, I didn't paint them, give it to the person below me. But the amount of times that had to happen before people that painted it could get an award was absolutely insane. Like I'm a school teacher. I do my best to get in my painting reps, but I cannot compete with a Golden Demon winning professional painter, which all of the Spanish team have been painted by. So it was a bit of a farce.
But credit to the Spanish though, because they did all go up. And
they all went up and said, no, that wasn't mine. Yeah, they literally all did. So I won second on the painting competition in the end. Came second to a really nice set of Star Striders. I got a bronze because they messed up so many times trying to give the award to commission painted painters that I ended up. So I've got a bronze coin at home that says nothing about painting on it. Just says Warhammer World Championships.
But it's actually a silver.
This actually should be silver, but it's bronze.
I was just about to say
I
that.
do have spray paint. You know what?
Just do that yourself.
But it's you know what, it's behind all the other kill team trophies because it wasn't a very good painting competition in comparison to just this last Saturday. And you may have seen Tabletop Impulse did a review. Loads of people have done some reviews on the NKT NKT Christmas Clash and the painting standard. Not only was there a nice dark tablecloth on a lovely raised table
With some lights.
with lighting set up specifically for the paint jobs, they were the level of painting was insane. So my Legionaries that came second after you remove all the commissions didn't even place, and I doubt they were very close because the painting standard was absolutely insane. It was fantastic to see. I'd rather not place and see that than come first,
Yeah, for sure.
and then be just a walkover like
that. There is some exceptional paints in the group. So
it's not just the group though. The people that came to the So now 2 of them were NKT people that won, but we in NKT we don't just vote for our mates. So that's not going to be what happened anyway, especially with 64 people. But one of them wasn't an NKT, and I'm sure some of them that came close to placing, they wouldn't have been NKT as well because there was some lovely stuff. Adam Calvers. Tabletop Impulse himself, those Badab War,
was it Andy
Tormentors?
That had the little Christmas intercessors?
The Wintercessors, they came second. So just incredible painting standard. And if you enjoy the hobby side of it, stick to your NKT events and your Warhammer World events because those guys care. The organisers there. I'm not saying that the guys at Worlds didn't care at all. But they didn't care at all. They
saying it. I have no regrets.
They weren't as bothered. Like Warhammer World are much more invested in the whole hobby.
Yeah.
Whereas the global events team is much more invested in the competitive, and that's just the way they've decided to go, which is fine.
What you've just described as the disparity between Notts Kill Team and Teleport Tactics.
Yeah. We're handsome.
Yeah.
And Ryan is just a big tall munter.
Who happens to be okay at the game.
Medium.
I mean, if you played any tournaments recently, we'd know.
Exactly. I have been too busy organising them and
hiding from them.
And according to Shane, you've been too busy spitting on people in Atlanta.
No, that sounds about right. Is that Shane from Command Point?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't pretend to know people.
Yeah, we know. Mike.
In my defence, they were hookers, so probably
homeless as well.
Homeless hookers.
That
it was behind the curtain.
Further
It was,
couldn't be further away.
if Kill Team's most handsome man is listening to this is not what I believe in.
Who is Kill Team's most handsome man?
Who is?
Yeah.
The game designer.
Oh, well, Mr. Elliot. He is very handsome.
Mr. Hamer.
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool
Yeah, this
dude.
chap.
He's a lovely man. That was So we got to hang out with him a few times. Absolutely, that was probably one of the highlights of the trip. Like going on holiday with your mates, the Argentinians. So they're probably not listening because it's not in Spanish. But Ratman and crap, how did I forget his name? It's the most.
It's not Javier, is it?
No, it's the most Argentinian name you could possibly have. I will find it out later. That's an absolute shame because I still talk to him on Instagram. Lovely,
Not anymore.
Lovely,
Not anymore.
Lovely guy. So meeting the Argentinians was brilliant. I'm going to check for it now. I'm going to check for it now.
Whilst you bury the shame.
Yeah. I'm just looking it up. I know it as well because I thought of it this morning. Because I knew I was gonna say a shout out to them because they were super nice. But obviously you remember the name Ratman because his name was Ratman. For God's sake.
His name wasn't actually Ratman though, is it?
No, but that's what it was down as.
Did Elliot have a better time at this one than he did at the Manchester tournament?
Oh, I think so because at the Manchester tournament he looked like he was like the only judge for 120 people. He was on I think whatever it was 12-hour shifts, just standing on his feet.
And all of those decisions were getting made. It seemed like beyond
his control.
And then he was just the person constantly being like, "Oh, you know that thing I told you? It's not a thing now."
Yeah.
Pablo.
Close friends, real close.
Nailed that shout.
Best buddies.
Lovely guy, absolute lovely guy. Like honestly, he embodied like what NKT does. Because every time like we had a game, I was like, "How did you do?" He wouldn't tell me. He just said, "I made a new friend." Like, just a lovely guy.
That meant he lost. Right? If they're not telling you, it's
maybe. But he had a great time. He had a lovely time.
I'm embodying what NKT's about. I'm just here to roll some dice.
Losing with style. Losing with style.
Make friends.
Look, there's two of us because we've got friends. One of you. Where are all the turning point tactics friends? He hasn't got any.
True.
All in London.
I'm very,
All in
very
London.
alone.
He keeps telling us about this close friendship he's got with Glass Half Dead. He won't even show up. I don't think he's real. I think he's just him in
He's
like
like
a plastic in a ball cap. That's all it is.
It's like
He has a quick shave, puts his ball cap on, picks up some Necrons and goes and loses at a tournament.
it's dedication. To the
I am a
cause.
big fan of Glass Half Dead.
Yeah, again, sounded like it.
Look, it's part of my charm.
Just smearing people as you go through.
I'm trying to make as many enemies as I can.
Put a disclaimer: like the views of Chris Swapball does not reflect the views of Turning Point Tactics.
No, I've got that in writing that they do. I am Turning Point Tactics.
I was going to say there was like a chat beforehand where confirmed you would say all of these things.
Well, there was a chat where I was quite shocked this morning to be included. Like, I thought after last time in my opinions about elves, I was done.
Quite quickly regretting that decision.
I would. You really fucked up. You really fucked up with that one.
Fine. Glass did beat a kid who was 12 with his Necrons, so
That is something that I would do, to be fair.
Yeah.
So,
And then you'll spit on them and laugh.
And shill you.
incredible.
If you want to get better,
Too far. Okay, so Atlanta. We managed to get to the fact that you went there, you met some friends, you took Legionaries, Noga was the wrong choice. You would take Tzeentch. Is there anything that you've learned about Tzeentch Legionaries?
So
We try and make it somewhat Kill Team focused.
yes.
So someone...
why am I here?
Maybe someone gets something out of this. They've been listening for the last...
If they want to hear actual information, they can just listen
Come to the wrong place.
Kill Team Casuals. So since
Definitely a
Worlds, I've played Tzeentch a fair bit. I've played it in a few casual games and at a tournament. I did very well in the tournament, only losing my final game. It was against Hearthkin, and actually that's a bad matchup. The map was fine for both of us, but even with some whiffy rolls on my behalf and some whiffy rolls on his behalf, I only lost by essentially initiative on last turning point. We rolled off. Whoever got initiative has won this game, and that's how it ended. So I'm really pleased with that. Really pleased. So I ended up beating Chaos Demons, Dark Eldar, losing to Hearthkin, but very narrowly. Who else did I play?
Confused. He's talking about the wrong tournament, but we'll just leave it.
No, because we're talking about Zinch.
Yes.
I can't remember what other team I played. Oh, Pathfinders, which is a really, really horrible matchup for them, and I beat them as well. So Zinch, when you can't get armor pierced as an elite, it's a big fucking deal. You've got to take it.
I'm very interested to see with the new meta how these teams affect stuff, because so for instance, the feedback from the competitive community, not the wider community I'd say, but is that my maps are too dense in the middle, too favourable for melee teams, not good enough for shooting teams, and therefore they're not competitive enough. Totally agree. In the Chaos Cult commanding meta, that was probably valid. I'm really interested to see now, like if we go the other way, and now you have Kazakhstan Pathfinders coming back out and all these very shooting teams. If people, because I guarantee you, because did you use both version 1 and version 2?
I did, but the only maps where it makes a difference are on Octarius.
Oh
I
yeah.
had an equal split on everything else, but actually because everything is heavy, all of it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it only matters for Octarius. So even then, it's not that oppressive. Even if I use only version 1, which is more in the middle, for Octarius, it would have only been a 1 in 4 chance that you ended up on that board, and the rest would have.
It's important to remember that as well. A lot of people have some really strong opinions about layouts and maps in general, and so they'll come at you and say, "Oh, your map packs are shit," because they've seen half of the Octarius boards. But when you're thinking about a tournament, yes, it would be nice if version 3 incorporated some of the best maps from 1 and 2. Would I tell you to completely redesign them all? No. I would actually make version 3 out of the 2 map packs with maybe a couple of tweaks here and there. But at a large tournament, people will be changing table every round.
Yeah.
And you should be, in your casual games as well, you should be changing the map every time you play. So
here's like a philosophical question. Because people said the open boards don't feel different enough to the ITD boards. And so from a balance point of view, I think that I would rather open and ITD are closer than further apart, because it's so much harder to balance the two if your team, so for instance Pathfinders, if you're on a very open board against Pathfinders, it feels horrendous. But if you're an ITD, you go, oh, this is quite easy. Now, if you can bring open towards ITD, they can nerf the team or buff the team such that it sits in that comfortable middle. But if like open board is very open, and let's say the season 3 is like the far extreme of it, and it's the most open we've ever seen, and ITD is like very, very closed, then like from a balance point of view, I think like I don't envy the balance team trying to make those work.
So from what you just explained, say Legionaries into Pathfinders as an example. So on open board, without your map packs there, they're worried about that matchup, going to take lots of firing. You were saying you're bringing it closer to Into the Dark, where they have a better matchup. So Pathfinders will never have a good matchup into them. There needs to be a mix.
Well, so that's my point, right? Is that I think if you can align the terrain, then you can go, all right, now we know this. Pathfinders are always losing, so we buff them to the point in which it's now even, and then we leave them.
I see what you're saying.
But now, like, because let's say I take this out of the middle, and you play against Pathfinders like this.
Oh yeah, look, great.
You Pathfinders go, sure, like
roll all the dice.
You die,
and the table be seen clearly by
probably not.
Not with the mic.
But there's like a big
There's a gap here.
There's huge open space in the middle.
Pathfinders like this.
People would go, that's really good for Pathfinders, right? And for Legionary, it'd be unwinnable. And then vice versa, you go into the Dark and you go pre all the buffs that Pathfinder got for Into the Dark versus like max strength Legionary, unwinnable. So then you're in this like scenario where you go, well, we're now coming down to what map we get, and so that's more variance. Whereas like I think if you have a board that's, and this only came to me by the way post all the buffs that have just come out, and I was thinking, because before I agreed, and an element of me still does agree that the maps probably could do a little bit less heavy in the middle, but I'm with Kazakhstan on the way, Pathfinder make a resurgent, Hunterclade coming back. I think we're about to see the resurgence of a quite heavy shooting meta, and then it'll be really interesting to see how people go. Like, I think it's the careful what you wish for sort of thing, because then you'll get the very open boards and they'll go, fucking hell, like I'm getting shot off the board. Like why is there no cover in the middle? And you go, well, yeah, like this is the balance.
That's
right?
why I thought I should mix some of the old and the new.
Yeah. So if you've got 4 rounds, maybe BCP needs to be able to balance it so they never put people on the same table twice or something. But if you've got 4 rounds, and you've got a mix of bit more open, bit more closed, it should equal out.
I think as well you can just...
And as I say, if you are super concerned that you're playing a game that might not be the most perfectly balanced tactical thing, go buy a GameCube, Super Smash Bros. Melee, both of you play Fox, on Final Destination, turn items off, there you go.
Something we've been talking, I've been mulling over, is that this game is all about asymmetry.
Right.
Everything shouldn't have equal access and equal opportunity on every type of board. I think that's fine.
But
it's fine to a point.
It's a core mechanic of
you
the
don't
game,
want to have the maps so crazy.
It should be unwinnable,
but
it's fine to be like, that's Legionaries into Pathfinders and Open. That should be a hard matchup. That's fine. I think that's fine for the Legionary player to have
I've
a
never,
matchup where they I need to use my tools better to get a win.
Only once have I, and I've played, as we established earlier, about probably 200 games. I've only once had a game where I knew before we even deployed the combination of this map and your team, I've lost.
Yeah,
and it was correct. I was correct in thinking that, but that's happened once. I've played a shitload of tournaments. Teams were Hunterclade. It was the Into the Dark with the 5 rooms, or 4 rooms and 2 and corridor in the middle with the 2 big rooms at the back. I can't remember what it's called. But and I had Legionaries. Now we spent some time. I bet he fucking loved it. So Shane had the exact same experience that I did. Mine was perhaps worse because I was against Hunterclade.
Yeah,
and I feel like Hunterclade are better than Star Striders with that kind of splitting themselves.
Killing elite.
Killing elite.
No doubt.
And so on that map, I was just like, right, so I can split my team into 6 operatives, 1 going in each room. And you can have like 2 on that one, 3 on that one, 2 on that one, and that means you can just wait for me to open the door and then just Roger me. It was
no one likes
was it capture? Was it capture as well? So I had to because he had more activations. I had to move my guys onto there, so then he could just open the door, boop, shoot me.
Did he make that noise?
Yeah, every fucking time. He's a lovely lad. It was Blame.
You should look him up on Instagram as well.
6-Sided Legion. It's a Kill Team YouTube channel, way better than this one. He's just done his.
Make sure you check out Glass Half Dead, 6-Sided Legion, and Command Point, and just get off this right now.
I'm joking. This is the best Kill Team content ever
in the UK. Originated in Lincoln.
Yes,
and insert more caveats.
Lincoln. So Blaine was a lovely lad, but even he knew that it was his game. If he'd lost that one, it would have been embarrassing, but he didn't. He really didn't. And then obviously Shane had pretty much the same deal with you. A lot more close because Shane is a lot better than me, and you're not as good as Blaine, I imagine. So
just needless smears at this point. Just needless.
That's what
I mean, we know it's true. But I don't hear
it. That was the brief.
Yeah. Interesting names they have in America.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Blaine, True, Orion.
True was a good guy. Yeah.
True, lovely bloke, but his name was True.
True that.
I didn't. Not once did I Spandau Ballet him though, and I really wanted to. Just scream in his face. True.
Hopefully he's not sensitive about his name. Otherwise, that's someone else you can add to the list. Because you'll never talk to again.
Yeah.
So
and he's American, so he's got a gun.
Probably trained, knows what he's doing as well. Yeah. So good enemy to make. So philosophy of map packs.
Same bit of philosophy. Map packs.
With the map packs,
yeah.
With asymmetry, have you thought about maybe in the midboard just half of it being light? So
so this is interesting. And can you move the mic to the left? That mic doesn't actually work, by the way.
No, it's on now.
We're in.
Oh, it's on now.
Yeah.
Then I'll keep it here.
You can hear us. Oh, right,
it turns out that Macs have other hidden settings.
Oh, of course they do. So when I said it was at the right mic, and you said, "Yeah, it is," what you meant was
it was the right mic. But the systems on the Mac itself had it like a quarter volume.
This is our tech guy, everyone. By the way, this is our tech guy.
And I'm the temporary one. I'm the one that will cycle out. Yet the tech guy that can't turn the microphone on. He's here every week, is he?
He's a science teacher.
Well, yeah.
So I think the answer is, as we sort of discussed, this will be very difficult if that one is it. But it'll probably be
You're gonna
something.
make me zoom in somehow.
No, I don't know. We'll just see. But like the idea being is that you're going to end up with effectively one light objective in the middle / the ability to maybe dash.
It looks quite nice actually.
Too heavy. Something like that maybe.
That's it, yeah.
And
You just
then
move it towards the middle.
towards the
easy.
camera.
Yeah.
Scooch it a
Oh,
bit.
watch a milkshake. Jeez.
No, actually, that's probably
You've grown,
too
man.
much. But
Delicious.
either way, but like
It's Christmas,
this
isn't
will
it?
probably need to come over. I mean, there's just so many nurglings over the place. God.
Look, you told me to make the board look attractive.
While Ryan's faffing with that, there
Yeah.
was a demand for a rating of the milkshake.
Oh wait, is it,
7. Solid 7.
solid 7.
Out
Is-
of
Is that one of Sanctuary's
110.
own?
That is homegrown in
That
Sanctuary.
is homegrown. Well, homegrown. They bought some Twixes and some chocolate milkshake, chocolate ice cream. Blitzed it. Is that homegrown?
ish.
Kind of.
Homegrown adjacent.
Something like this maybe. So this objective, I'll put something else here in a bit, but like you would have heavy here on these two, heavy on this one, but light on the end. So the centre of the board can be safe. You can also dash, capture an objective, move out, that sort of thing. Is the aspiration. The other way of doing it as well is to rotate these slightly, so that you have more of a angle base on the middle, the Great Wall of Octarius, as people like to refer to it as. That then means that you have to use your barricades to give yourself safe angles. Now, the reason why this, by the way, is sort of stuff that I looked at initially. The reason why we didn't do that is because let's say you're new to Kill Team and you're not very good at placing your barricades, and you just do the classic thing where you go, I'm just going to put it there and put it there. It then means that there is nowhere safe for you to hide on midboard objectives because you just get immediately destroyed. You can argue that that's a good thing in a competitive game, right? Because if you don't know how to use your barricades properly, you probably shouldn't be getting a good position. But what it means then is, like, as I said, if you try to make it beginner friendly, it won't be. So that's kind of the balance, and that's the rub that you have to try and have when it comes to these things. Is like, do you keep the game particularly friendly for beginners? Do you keep it particularly helpful for other people? That's a debate, right? And there's no right answer on that one. Although I'm sure someone on the internet will tell me there is.
I'll tell you.
Someone that's met you for the first time and introduced themselves. Oh, hi, your map pack is shit.
It's like, thanks. Yeah,
Multiple
cool.
times. Multiple times I've
Third
seen
time
that
I've heard this
happen.
today.
Yeah.
So I do get it, like, because everyone has their opinion, and it's like it's very quick. I think for people to realise that, like, I do put a lot of thought into it.
Yep.
And so I'm trying to make it better, and it's like whatever someone says, I'm like, yeah, like, I agree with you. That's 100% true. It is a payoff. But I think something like this maybe, and these will be slightly more back into the deployment zone as well. But
You're a very diplomatic person, because I would definitely use a lot more four-letter words.
You already have.
If someone came up to me and just said,
the nicest, second nicest guy in Kill Team.
yeah,
Apart from Chris. Well,
I am the
he probably is the
guy."
nicest now.
I actually do have
I'm
one
lovely.
friend who just arrived. So just saying, like I have one friend. They know my name. But anyway, something like that. So
On board opinion as well, I'd imagine there's a lot of local bias in what people think, because if you have a
It's down to your
meta
meta, yeah.
where you've got 20 Pathfinder players, then this is probably
Take my toys off the board.
this is a less attractive board to those 20 players. So the overall feeling in that group is going to be, well, these boards are not great. But then if you have 20 Legionary players in another group, they're going to say this board is great.
this is it. And as well, like, it's one of those things where when the boards are first made, you have to remember the meta that was happening at the time. It was very, very heavy shooting meta. There wasn't, like, Chaos Cults didn't exist, Felgar Averages didn't exist, Galloppox were barely played, like, and then these teams have turned up, and now suddenly everyone goes, oh, the maps aren't suitable, and you go, well, yeah, like, time has changed.
I was keeping that one.
And we're going to try and make it better going forward. So season 3 or version 3 of the map pack will come out with the season 3 terrain. I'll incorporate what I can. It might be that it's just unusable. I don't know. Until I get the terrain and I build it, get hands on it, and try and make it work, I don't know.
Would you consider making that a 2-box map? I know it's something.
That's expensive.
Yeah, but if you can't balance it any other way,
That's a good question.
aside
That's a good
adding
point.
in a little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh, I suppose then you can
Because up to
either.
now, his principle has been
What one box solution?
should be
yeah.
one box solution, so you don't have to buy extra.
Oh,
If
but
that
then
is
it's going to
so
come
unblocked-
into, like, people are going to be like, just add a bit of Vertigus. Add a little bit of Vertigus to it.
Everybody has like Munitorium craters and stuff, don't they? Like little barrels and stuff. If you can somehow,
I did until I cut them in half for
That's
Necromunda.
your fault. That's your fault.
With season 3 stuff, where each of the team boxes are going to have their own bits of terrain,
That's
are
true,
they
yeah.
even going to be considered at all?
The issue with that. So
why are they doing that?
I like the idea, like in a sense of you can add some thematic things, right? However, like imagine being a TO for a second.
Oh yeah, nightmare.
And you go, cool, I've got this box of Season 3 terrain. Does anyone happen to have some spare Eldari bits they've painted up and ready to go? And it's like, well, I've got the box, and that guy over there's got the thing. And you go, can you bring that one on the Friday before? And can you bring that? And then it's
and
like,
it's still on the sprue.
And it's still on the
give
sprue.
you
And,
this sprue like that.
and you go, thanks, that's really helpful. Like, so me doing that to the TO community is completely unhelpful. I think.
Fuck you for that.
Happy to be told wrong, right? But like, if I was doing a tournament, like that's a level of additional stress that I don't want to have to deal with going forward. So probably not. There is a question if I can't balance it, what do I do? I don't know. I might just say I might be completely honest and go, this is not a balanceable map. Like this is a casual map. Enjoy it as casual.
For me right now.
Yeah, and maybe they can change the rules. I mean, personally, unless they change jump tests, I still don't think it's going to be competitive. My personal opinion.
It'll be alright. It'll be alright.
Just be fine.
I just think
we met Elliot. A man that handsome is not going to allow the release of an
I think he already
uncompetitive.
has.
Well, I don't know, right? Because it's really hard to say, and there's a whole bunch of teams that are going to be fine on it. So, like, Phobos are going to love it. They automatically pass jump tests and they shoot across the board. They have no issues.
Yeah.
And Harlequin's the same, right? There's a bunch of teams that don't have that ability, and like, it's not just the fact you're not going to score VP.
Yeah.
It's a double whammy, right? So you have your guy on conceal. He's going to go do a mission action for you. He fails a jump test. He's
Then he gets
sat
shot.
in the open. He dies. You've lost the model. You've not scored VP, all because you rolled a 1. Like, that hurts. And I don't know how you solve that from a balance point of view.
I guess you make sure all like game shops that are hosting tournaments have an open bar.
Just drink.
You're not going to be that bothered if you've got like 3 fingers of whiskey.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
That was a good thing about Champs as well, was the access to the bar midway through, and I wasn't driving home, so I was like, I'm staying up there. Like,
So yeah,
I'm on it.
the 4 hour.
10 a.m. somewhere.
We probably should hit the 4 hour rounds discussion.
Yeah.
The 7 turning point game.
17.
We'll get to that one, but the glory of a 4 hour round is you meet each other, you shake each other's hands, you say hello, you roll off, pick your side of the table, choose your deployment teams, and then you both go for a shit. You just go, alright, I'll be back in about an hour, I'm just going to nip back up to my room. You've got enough time to go all the way back up to your room, lovely elevators in that hotel, and go for a comfortable poo in your own hotel room before coming back down.
Quality content.
It was revolutionary.
This is not too dissimilar to our group chat, I'll be honest. Just everything turns into poo.
Yeah.
Literally everything.
Everything's turned from gold into shit. But no, the 4 hour rounds were interesting because it was very clear very early on that if you give someone 4 hours to play a game, they're going to take it. And I mean, I say that like I wouldn't, and I didn't. I had a 20-minute activation.
Oh my lord.
I was playing Elites, and it was against Starstriders. The layout, the map, not my favourite. And essentially, on turning point 1, if I did not make everything absolutely millimetre perfect, I was going to get blown off the board. So what I did was take 20 minutes to move a single model. I won that game. If I had an hour and a half, I would not have won that game.
It plays so much like TTS. So like, and you're right, because like top level players, if you give enough time, will make the right decision. And so like one of the things on TTS that you can do is like you have all your models out and you can go, oh, I don't want to be within 2 inches of each other. So you put a little red ring by clicking 2 on all your models and it's just stuck to them. So you can basically never make the mistake, right? Because you're watching the 2-inch bubble move around and you go, well, that's not intercepted that other one, so I'm good, right? And so you can have it where you can put like a 9-inch bubble on all your opponent's models to stop you from being charged. Like, so you have all the information, it's just visually there. Like trying to do that on the table, like is a massive skill, because being like, there's a guy there, 9-inch bubble, he's behind the door, where can he reach, all that sort of stuff. And then being able to do that concurrently with something else, like a 2-inch bubble, like to do that with measuring tools, really, really difficult.
If we could get some Google Glass.
Well, yes, they're like VR.
Augmented reality.
Yeah. But like doing that in an hour and a half with all those decisions, or an hour and 45, with those decisions overlaid on the top, that's where the real skill set comes in, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're doing it quickly, and as you said, like my opponents didn't make mistakes when it came to orbital assets because they would go, "Oh, I'm going to do this," and "Oh, actually, maybe no, you could do that." No, okay, take it back. Oh, I'm going to do this and do that. I was in the same thing, right? Because everyone has to do the same thing. Because if you don't do the same thing, you will just lose.
Yeah.
So like you end up being this thing where because everyone has the time, everyone uses the time, and therefore it becomes it.
Yes.
I think personally, I'd have liked to just played more games.
Yeah, I think I would.
Like I would rather
met
that
more
day
people.
one was just like 4 games.
Yeah.
Day 2 was 6 games. Like I don't care.
6
Well,
games.
it was very interesting that the so with these like times and where the tournament was being held, you couldn't go and do anything anyway until the last day when the tournament had ended. Did me and Ryan and Mateus actually go to the aquarium and the World of Coke and things like that? Coca-Cola.
No, you should have corrected that.
And I was spitting on hookers.
So you couldn't do anything else.
I'm here.
You couldn't do anything else. So what you might as well.
Hookers, why?
Apart from you could go to the shop that they had laid out, which was very nice for a lot of the people because they'd never seen that much Forge World stuff. But for us in Nottingham.
I've seen it before.
It was everything that we can buy, but with another 50% added on top. Holy shit!
When you live less than an hour away from Warhammer World, it's like, oh yeah, here's like a shop that's worse than Warhammer World.
Yeah.
Impressive they flew it all out there, but equally like, yeah, we've seen this before.
Yeah,
but for the guys who came from like
Peru,
and
it
that
was a big
sort of
deal.
stuff,
Yeah.
like that's like, oh, we don't get Forge.
Australia
Probably
thought it was
more
a discount.
Exactly.
Australia were like, oh my god, you Americans have it so
so
cheap.
cheap.
The Americans have to pay like an extra 50% on top of what we do.
Jeez.
Yeah,
And the Australians thought that was a discount.
Australians who play 40k are minted.
They
Like, you need to find one of those and make like an Aussie 40k wife.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna look after you.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna they have money and they're not afraid to use it. It's insane. Like
They'll spend it on toy soldiers.
They'll spend it on toy soldiers. Like that is commitment to the
What you're
cause.
saying is Alexa deserved that win.
Oh, I mean,
Just-
he paid for it.
Just for
probably.
the amount
Pay
of
to
money.
win.
Basically
Like
paid
his
to
Chaos Cult team cost him probably like 20 times what it cost us.
Yeah.
Let alone flights to get there and everything else.
Finding a copy of it as well. Like,
Yeah. But so the plan for the rest of tonight is for us to do a streamed game, probably in about half an hour. So we'll probably sign off there for this episode of 10.5.
Yeah.
I think we managed to do it good.
Do you want to blast through any?
Yeah, let's run through the questions in the chat so we cover all those off, and then we'll end it. After
I
those.
promise not to derail them. I
feel
think
like you
not
will.
this whole thing has
Yeah.
been me. I'm doing it now.
The first
I'm doing it now.
Shut him up.
The first question is going to be from Tentacles.
The first question,
From
or
Tentacles.
kind of statement and
Yeah.
everything, is from Kill Team Hungary YTC.
Oh, okay.
You started off by mentioned really kudos on your pack. They're playing them exclusively over there.
Oh,
Nice.
awesome.
And then he was asking, or they were asking, do you think that Games Workshop is expecting or intending people to play on more ITD, given the set and the buffs that have recently come out?
I think they're expecting it to carry on as is, because I think ITD in the wider community is pretty popular.
Yeah, it's great.
So I think every tournament going forwards will be mixed, which is very different to last edition, where basically people hated some of the terrain sets and all that sort of stuff. I think everything going forwards will be mixed, and Season 3, so long as the community can make it competitive, will join that mix, and you'll just have more terrain to play on.
And not just competitive, but not feels bad is another thing. Like it's fine being a little bit uncompetitive in a tournament where you're having multiple rounds and you're not going to play on the same terrain all day. But to have it feel really bad, maybe.
And here's another thing as well, because what's really important when it comes to terrain is like it's very easy when you're looking top down to judge something.
Yeah.
You have to look at it across the board, because like you'll be there going, oh well, you can just shoot each other from deployment zones.
You just
And
stand
then
on the table.
Yeah, like, and then actually when you like
I'm
look, when you actually look across, you go, oh, actually there's no So that's an important thing to do. So I think it's here to stay. I think it will. I don't know if it will grow as much, or maybe it's just people's time it takes to actually build those boards. Cause
There's a lot in
you build those
circulation,
boards.
isn't there? Like I think
Yeah.
from
I mean, there's in theory 3 times as much as
and
the
from an
other
organiser's point of view, when you're like who
It's
has
easier.
terrain and everybody has Into the Dark,
And you can build it the night before.
and there's no reason not to have it for
Yeah.
a proportion of your boards, because it just makes the logistics suddenly. If you just use it for a third, 33% easier.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I honestly
33%
think most
20 boards.
people enjoy it.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's
I've
a
ever
good
met
game.
anyone that doesn't like
And
it.
I like it for. I think it diversifies the amount of teams you see.
Yeah.
Because you then can't have a team that I'm only going to play open board.
You're
That will
risking
narrow
it
the
if you
pool.
bring. So, friend of NKT, Simon, he's part of NKT.
Yeah. He's got a shirt.
Simon, he's got a shirt. There you go. He brought Pathfinders to the NKT event, and look at the draw he ended up on Into the Dark 3 times.
3 times out of 4.
Pathfinders ain't so bad on Into the Dark anymore.
No, they're
However,
better.
he would rather they
Yeah.
weren't, and that's what happens.
But he might have been, if it was an only Into the Dark tournament, would he have picked a different team?
Yeah, probably,
And other
yeah.
people might have done the same. Right?
Yeah.
They might have been like, oh, I'll shy away from that team.
It would just be all
Whereas
Gallipot.
at least if you mix it up. Yeah, I mean, likely, yes.
Gallipot's
I hit you
goals.
for 10, you hit me for 3.
Come on,
I hit you
Let's
for...
see who rolls the most 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question.
Next
There's-
question.
At the moment, there's only one more question.
Oh, good.
This is good. We might be able
We
to.
might be quick. So Tentacles again has said, if you could swap,
Fuck me!
I'm happy with
Tentacles!
this.
if you could
Get on,
swap
Valley.
one operative from your favourite kill team for one operative from another team with the same APL characteristic, who would you swap?
I would swap one of the Legionaries for Volgrath Ice Curse.
Same-
Can you
same
imagine?
APL has to be 3.
Same APL.
Oh, Volgrath's only 2,
Yeah,
isn't he?
But you could still do that, but it's just a downgrade.
For Custodes.
No, I don't like Custodes. The dump.
Ooh, Custodes is a
Big
great
wounds,
shout.
big wounds.
Put in a Custodes in your team.
Great save, hit on
Yeah.
2s.
I'm going to throw out there as well. Tau Recon Drone. That
Yes,
boy
bro, it's so good.
is
so
right.
good.
So
So many benefits.
List of benefits, right? So he's going to give you a free pre-game dash, right? He's going to give you a GA2 option. On that GA2, it makes him relentless.
Yeah.
He-
Because he can analyse, can't
He can analyse. He's armed with a 6 attack, 3/4 bolt gun that's ceaseless. He also has 12 wounds and a 4-up save, and he has fly.
And who are you swapping them out for?
Pick one.
I would
Yes.
All of them.
probably something like on exaction. You could take out like a medic or someone,
Get
Yeah.
rid of the
make a
dog.
recon drone. The dog's great. I
Big dog. That's your recover item.
Yeah, like he's
No
like,
brain power required.
well, that's Star Striders.
I
Like
feel-
sort of like that, because relentless on the sniper, relentless on the grenade launcher, it'd make your guys so
Yeah.
much better.
I feel like if you put the Balefire into Intercession or Phobos, those teams are going to get a lot spicier because you can just buff them. Because the Balefire's buff works for shooting and close combat, and it's such a good buff.
The
Like,
captain from Justin into intercession, boom,
Oh, gross, yeah.
take him straight.
that's like, oh, I've got an ice cube to put in my water. Like, you're flavouring your tap water
you have to
with
say that
Evian.
cold water's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, cold's better.
That is the most vanilla thing. That's the most missionary position thing I've ever heard in my life. Take this Space Marine and put it with these Space Marines. Jesus Christ.
Mayonnaise is too spicy, mate.
You know what I would do is I would take out all of my members and swap them all for Tentacles because he is carrying this stream.
That got real,
Patches,
that got real phallic
Patches
real
just
quick.
came in with a quick suggestion of
Yeah.
the Lucidian Executioner for pretty much any Marine.
Yeah, she's great. She is good. Any Marine? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, does he mean you take her out and put a Marine in?
No, I think take away a Marine.
Oh yeah.
Them in.
Which is always a win. That's Marines.
Yeah, less Marines on the board. Yeah,
Everyone likes that.
that's a really interesting question. Well done, Tentacles. Well done.
Tentacles carrying the whole thing.
I like that.
Jin came in with reflecting on your solo podcast. Do you think you need to include sound clips of Connor saying that's a really good point?
I might just do that. I can just take it.
Just get a soundboard.
Just make a statement. Yeah, that's a really good point. Anything you want to add, Connor? No, I think you covered it all there, mate. It's like, that's all I need.
Oh,
just have those.
Massive.
Just
I'll
have
nail
a
it.
photo of Connor from the tournament. Put it up on the side.
Just Jesus on the side, just going.
That's a really good point.
No, that's a really good point. You covered it all, and I think that's it.
Brilliant.
I don't pay that man enough. I don't pay that man. But yeah, cool. Are there any other questions, or we managed to?
I think so far we're
through
good. That's everything at the moment.
Sweet. Well, we are going to come back in approximately half an hour and do a bat rep, and we'll see how it goes. So if you're still here, you're here. If you're not, then see you later.
If we're ending the broadcast, you're going to need to set up a new schedule one.
That's fine, I think.
Yeah.
Do that.
I feel like you'd have had that conversation when you press stop. But, it's fine.
Like
It's
everyone needs to hear the technical detail of how the stream works.
But we can either end it or we can just carry on.
Pause it.
Goodbye, everyone. Wave goodbye.
I think we need to stop
End it
and
classy. End it